I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I
I am
am
California of the past.
Hi, I am Maria Socorro. I was born in San Mateo, California. My mother took me and my two brothers to Michoacán, Mexico when I was 12 years old. The memories that I have of my parents when I was young are my mother very Catholic and my dad an alcoholic. Since my mother was young, she was very Catholic. She liked to pray a lot. But I guess that with the experience of my dad being an alcoholic, she became addicted to praying, maybe so God could give her strength to keep living life. I remember her always praying. Also, when she felt nervous or stressed, she would always open the Bible. She would never look for anything special. Wherever the page would open, that was the message that she was receiving, and it would make her feel better. In one of those messages, it said, Christ blesses the ones that leave parents, husband, sons, family to follow him. So she did. We were there with her, but she was not there for us. On the other hand, my dad was an alcoholic. He was a bracero in the year 1967. That is when he became legal in the U.S. He always worked hard to take care of the bills, so we would have a place to stay. But with his work and drinking, he would never have any time for us. Going back to what I lived in Mexico, my mother heard that the Virgin of the Rosary had appeared in the year 1973, and that she did miracles for the ones that have faith. In the year 1980, we went there for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks became 8 years. I started to work for food when I was about 13. First cooking, but I was not a very good cook because the only thing my dad had taught me was to bake beans. So then I cleaned the house. Then I started to help sell in the fruit and vegetable stand. When I was 15, I entered a convent where I stayed until I turned 20. My mother always told us to pray for our father so he would stop drinking. During that time, I felt there was a time I did not hear anything about my dad. That was when I kind of wrote a little poem and sang it to the Lord. It goes like this. Dime, Padre mío, ¿cómo está mi papá? Es Pescadero, California, el lugar. San Francisco también, Santa Cruz. Allí es donde está mi familia. Yo quisiera ser palomita y volar allá donde está mi papá, y traérmelo a este lugar con la reina que nos va a salvar. Later, I found out that my dad did quit drinking. He just decided to. My mother would say, the Lord heard our prayers. Even though my dad was always drinking, he would always talk about the Virgin of Guadalupe. She was his idol. He would say everything he had achieved was because of her. He would never go to church, but she was always in his heart. From the stories I hear, my grandfather passed away in the year 1975. My father took over the celebration of the Virgin of Guadalupe in his hometown. On December 9th in Tamazulita, Jalisco, Mexico, he kept a tradition of thanking her for everything and asking her to keep helping him until he passed away. Now my brothers and I keep going through that tradition in his memory. Also here in Pescadero, every year, a group of people follows the Virgin of Guadalupe to houses. She stays a night at the houses of the ones that want to have her over. We pray the rosary and we sing her songs. And I know that this happens all over the world. So even though my parents were not there when we needed them, when it comes to the Virgin of Guadalupe, my mother and father will always be mentioned because in their way, they both showed us that she is our mother.